Hey, 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 hey. I see y'all. I see y'all. I see y'all. I changed the angle of this doggone thing. And I just feel like I'm looking up. But either way it goes, how are y'all doing? How are y'all doing? I see y'all in the chat. Y'all are ready, ready. You hear me? Y'all are ready. I love it. I love it. I love it. I do not count it, take it lightly that y'all have chosen to spend. Some of y'all spend twice a day with me for more than an hour. I do not take that lightly at all. I appreciate that. And y'all, I just want us to take a moment to take this in. Take this moment in with me. I'm telling you, when I see y'all in the chat waiting, that just blesses me beyond anything that I could ever imagine. To somebody else, that's just little or it's just whatever. But for me, it means the world because there's nothing more humbling. There's nothing more important. There's nothing more genuine. There's nothing more serious than having the responsibility of being able to pour into people's lives. So I don't take that personal. Lightly at all. So anyway, let's get these hellos in because there's so much that we have to cover. I want to open up and answer. Y'all know I'm going to answer every single last question. I'm going to read every single last comment. So we're going to get right into it. If you are new to this channel, or if you're watching the playback and you are wondering, um, what's going on, leave a comment. Okay, leave a comment. But even before that, make sure you hit the like button. Like this video. Make sure that you my lighting is off today. It's throwing me off, but I ain't even gonna worry about it. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. Today we are going to be talking about triggers. Y'all were already read from the title, so let's jump right in. You already read the title. You already know why we're here. So let's see. Just me came in. She's ready. Yes. Royalty Queen, hello, my dear, twice a day. I love my twice a dayers. If I miss over you because I don't remember everyone, so please, 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 if you are twice a dayer, just put the number 2 down in the chat box. Delphine, my sister, how you doing, girl? I hope you're getting settled in. Good to see you. Hello again. Hey, Pam, number 2. Yes, yes, yes. Good evening, my beautiful sister. Melissa, how are you today? I am doing well. I'm glad that you asked. Thank you for asking, rather. I'm doing well. Bob the Builder came and y'all let me stop calling that man Bob the Builder. But anyway, Bob the Builder and his crew came. So we're on phase 2 or 3 of the pool build. So he came and they outlined where the pool is going to go. We walked through all the permits, what you need to have, requirements, and all this other stuff. And so they're going to be digging probably within the next couple of days. Sometime next week, they're going to be digging. So that is super, super exciting. And we just sat looking out the back door like, ooh, nothing. He ain't doing nothing but with a spray can outline everything. But it's pretty interesting, unless you've built a pool from, seeing a pool being built from the ground up. I cannot wait till they start digging. So that was going on, just kind of chilling, kind of just preparing for what we're going to be talking about tonight. Because again, I don't take it lightly and I don't just throw topics out there, things that I don't know what I'm talking about. So yeah, just having a pretty chill day. It's a beautiful day. Not sure what I'm going to eat for dinner. Y'all let me know. What are y'all going to eat for dinner? Leave a comment down below. Not quite sure. I know I'm not cooking. Because when I told them to take something out, they didn't. So, oh well. Good evening, everyone. Shamika. Hey, Shamika, how are you? Hello. Y'all saying hello to each other. Y'all already know that just blesses me beyond measure. I thought I saw Toria come in here when we were waiting. Hope everyone had a wonderful day. Me too. I hope everyone had a wonderful day. And if you didn't have a wonderful day, I pray that you're able to shake off whatever it is or walk through whatever it is, and turn that day around. Don't make the whole day be a bad day. Self-love Thursday, everyone. I knew I saw a little sister in here. Hey, Toya, yes, self-love. We're going to do some self-love. We're going to do some tough love. We're going to do some growing up in here tonight. And hey, beautiful queens. Hey, just me. So we're just going back and forth with everyone. Hey, that's good news. Good to hear everything coming together. Yes, everything is coming together. It's kind of cute. Like I said, every now and then we peek back and watch the man do whatever he's going to do. And it's fun. I can't wait till they start digging a hole. That's going to be interesting to me just to see that part of it. Hello, everyone. The Bridges gang. So yes, y'all. Again, business out the way. If you have not already, make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe to this channel. But most of all, like I always say, don't just subscribe and then hang out in the bushes. That's not what this channel is about. Interact one way or another. And one thing that I always like to say, my email is always in the description box, which I did not check to see if, well, as the last time I checked, no one sent anything anonymous that they wanted to keep anonymous. So that's that. But if you don't want to talk here online, my email address is there. Shoot me an email. I can't promise that I'm going to get to it immediately or within the same week, but I will get to it as best I can when I can. So, whew, that was a mouthful. If you missed this morning, I I hate to have that moment that you have like at church if you missed Saturday evening or the day before and everybody come in and everybody's like, "Woo, if you missed this morning," the whole church breaks up anyway. That's what we're having right now. If you missed this morning, you really missed nuggets. Not just nuggets, like I said, me speaking at you, but we had some great interaction. But we were just talking about some grown woman stuff, grown woman interaction, how to be a grown woman, how to walk in that confidence. How do we maintain that confidence? And it was a really good conversation. So if you missed that, make sure you watch the replay of that. Leave a comment. Let me know what you do. Add to the conversation. All right. Before we get started, let's shout out Lakeisha. She says, hello, everyone. So, it was very interesting that the conversation that we were having this morning very much tied into this conversation that we're going to have tonight. So it was very, very interesting. When we were talking, as we were talking, I was like, oh, that goes along with what we're going to talk about tonight. We talked a lot about confidence in owning who you are, owning your emotional state, owning, the work that needs to happen in order to be a confident woman. And the beautiful part about it is confidence for me doesn't necessarily have to look the same, walk the same, dress the same as it is on you. But the bottom line is confidence is confidence. Boldness is boldness. And getting to that point, we're going to get to that point. So now, tonight, triggers. We are responsible for our own emotional triggers. What does that mean? Are we responsible? Off rip, do you think that other people should take part in your emotional triggers, minimizing those triggers? Leave a comment down below. Truthful Thursday. Come on now. Just want to say hello to all the beautiful queens on here. Y'all are awesome. They really are. Y'all really, really are. Y'all have no idea. Diamond, it's so good to see you again. So off the top, as I get my answers, in a nutshell, no. No one's responsible for managing your triggers. So I can also kind of take the conversation to relationships. I'm not going to really necessarily talk about relationships in the sense of being triggered because, you have person A, person B. Person A did something, person B, and now they know they did it and they keep, because now we're going into gaslighting. So I'm not going to talk about that too much. Generally speaking, we have to manage our own triggers. So for the sake of setting up the foundation so that we can get into the conversation, I want to hear from you guys. But before I hear from you guys, let's talk about what triggers are. I'm going to go through some things. I'm not going to assume that everyone knows what triggers are. I'm not going to assume that everybody knows what I'm talking about. No, not so much of taking part of it. Good. I'm not going to assume that everybody knows what we're talking about. I'm going to try to say this not in a demeaning way, but in try to minimize it from a less clinical standpoint and just talk about it in layman's terms. So like I said earlier, right now, these days, psychological terms are being thrown all around. People are, oh, this person's a narcissist. This one is ADHD. This one is that. Oh, I was triggered. So Melissa, what is triggered? Triggered, when someone's triggered, they have an intense emotional reaction, almost 0 to 100. It's sometimes very physical. Your heart starts racing. You are pretty much in a moment where it reminds you an incident that you were reminded of. It's an emotional, physical response to something. That thing is called a trigger. Okay. The physiological response that you have is called when people say I am triggered. So without getting into my degree, without getting into the brain, without breaking down all the regions of the brain and everything, there's an area of the brain that is responsible for storing memories. We know that. There's an area of the brain that's responsible for the flight or fight response. And there's an area of the brain, same area, that is responsible for emotional responses and everything else. So when you come in contact with a trigger and those emotions happen, good or bad, because we're going to talk about that too, that there is a response that happened in that part of the brain. And that's pretty much all it is. The problem is not necessarily with good triggers, because good triggers can go awry. So what's a good trigger? For an example, if I'm walking through the baby section, I could see something that triggers me to the fact that, wow, my childbearing years are pretty much over. And, my kids are grown. And then that goes to snowball of me remembering when they were babies and this and that and the other. Then I'm all weepy eyed or not or whatever. That's a trigger. Whatever it was, whether it was a diaper or this or that, it triggered an emotion. On a more serious note, someone can be triggered. You could be triggered by a car because you were in a car accident. So every time you ride in the car or you go down a certain street, you feel an emotional response to that. So again, triggers can be related to a person. A smell can trigger you. You can smell something and be home at your grandmother's house, sitting at the table, eating whatever it is that she's cooking. So it's not necessarily a bad thing to be triggered by something. It becomes bad when we respond in a certain way to certain traumas and certain experiences. And that's what we're going to talk about. It makes no difference. It doesn't do us any good to talk about the good triggers, right? It don't make any sense to talk about the good memories and the good time, because that's good. Like, we usually don't respond negatively in those ways. But we have to figure out how we are going to maintain our triggers so that we can grow. Not only grow in confidence, but grow as women, because ultimately there's a certain section of society that really, really believes that other people are responsible for walking on eggshells because they're, quote, triggered. And I'm here to tell you, life isn't that way. You may be able to control your spouse in that way or influence your spouse. You may be able to influence your children or whatever, like, hey, that when you do this, that triggers me, or blah, 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 blah. But the truth of the matter is, every day, online, social media, at your job, in certain places, no one really, really, really is responsible for how you manage your triggers, period. Diamond says, it takes a lot to trigger me. Not sure if it matters. I'm a Gemini. I will laugh first before I allow you to get me triggered. Now, if you continue, I feel sorry for you. My mouth is deadly. Now, here's the thing, Diamond. You get triggered. It's just you don't respond. And I like that you said that, because that's one of the coping mechanisms that we're going to talk about a little later. You do get triggered because it takes you somewhere, but you like, whatever. So we do have triggers, but we tell ourselves, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. So the fact that if they keep going, same thing with me. I will ignore you, but after a while, keep it up here. You're going to get it. So yeah, I agree totally what you're saying. So again, like I said, let me look at my notes. It's not always negative. It deals with the flight or fight part of the brain. It's not always major. It's not always dealing with trauma. Like I said, that was my example. It could be something very positive. Trigger. It's just taking you back to a place. And some places aren't good places for us to go emotional. Now, like I said, your jobs, the social media, people posting things, that has nothing, like, people. I am a firm believer that people that are walking in the inability to manage their emotions via triggers, they don't belong online. You don't belong online, because any little thing that someone posts, you've already internalized it, and now you're reacting. And have you ever had that? Leave a comment down below if you ever had that. You posted something that was sincerely not about someone, and they took it and ran with it, and you were like, that was weird. That has happened to me. Leave a comment down below, and I'll have another example too. Leave a comment, let me know. Right? My mouth is deadly, girl. Whew, real deadly. On purpose. It's bad. It's bad. Leave a comment down below if that's happened to you just online. So while we're waiting on the comments, like, yeah, like I said, I think that social media, some people just don't belong on it. Yes. Okay. Someone said yes. You're like, girl, that wasn't even towards you, or had let me know if you have ever said something to someone. You don't know their past, you don't know their history, and they took it so wrong. And then part of the making up conversation or whatever is, well, you didn't know that. Well, you're right, I didn't know. So you got to get over that, sis, because in society, ugh, okay. Yes, so many times Toya said. Exactly. So it's like, who's responsible? Were we wrong for posting whatever we felt like we wanted to post in that moment? Or was that person wrong for being emotionally triggered and going from 0 to 100? I submit that that person in their unhealed state really need to get off the internet and deal with that. Again, I don't want to really get into husband and wife or spouse or children or whatever, because that's completely different. Just a quick snippet. I would imagine if my husband tells me, hey, when you do XYZ, that takes me to a place that I don't like. Just out of sheer respect, I'm not going to do that, or I'm going to try not to do it. So that's a no brainer. I'm talking about managing our emotions, managing our emotions to the point where we are triggered in the slightest, that we don't go from 0 to 100 and make a mess out of things. Then we look stupid when we come back down. So what happens? What happens when we're triggered? So, who is that? Toya? Um, no, Diamond. Diamond was saying how Diamond was saying how she doesn't allow people. So that means Diamond has uh generally speaking, Diamond has good control over her emotions. She can control it. She's like, you're not taking me there. And so what happens to people that don't aren't able to manage their emotions, aren't able to manage their triggers? They are going to go from 0 to 100 and make a mess out of things. It's really a weird thing. I'm telling you, if you're this person, I'm telling you, it's very weird to be on the other end when you just said, um, it could be the slightest thing, like, really, because the truth of the matter is, when someone is triggered, it could be anything. It could be a compliment. It could be the lack of compliment. It could be coming into room and not speaking. It could be coming into room and speaking because you had an argument or a whatever with someone who used to walk in the room and say hi. Now everybody that walks in the room and say hi reminds you of this person. You got to get over that. You have to heal from that if you're going to navigate spaces and be healthy and emotionally healthy. Uh, Heck no, we're not wrong. That person took it the wrong way. They're already thinking negative, period. They're already thinking negative. They're already not managing their emotions. I can think of several occasions where I've said something very, very innocent, very, very general, very, very on the lines of, I like your daughter's shoes. That's not what I said, but it's something very, very similar to that. And that person went from 0 to 100. And then that person's spouse came to me and was like, well, you don't know what that person was going through. Well, okay, but I just said I liked her shoes. How, as me, that wasn't an insult. I really liked it. Whatever insecurities that person has, a simple statement like that sends them from 0 to 100. Sis, you got to work on that. You have to work on that. You just got triggered. Absolutely not. It depends on the situation, how triggered. Yeah, it depends. It depends. I can tell you, I have triggers. I still have triggers, but I've learned to work through them. We're gonna get through. We'll talk about that a minute later. I'm not gonna sit up here and say nothing triggers me. There's some things that trigger memories, and situations, and I have to do certain things to get myself back before I start going into crazy cycle lady. Because that's what it is, going 0 to 100, and everybody else has to pay because of my emotional triggers. And the truth of the matter is, we are exaggerating and reliving. See, that trigger takes you to a place. And where does it take you? Takes you to that trauma. It takes you to that bad experience, that negative experience. Because again, like I said, if it's a good experience, we usually don't go from 0 to 100. We just live in it and we love it and we like, oh my gosh, or whatever. But it's the trauma that we have to deal with. And you have to set boundaries. You absolutely have to set boundaries. Um, that's a good one. We're going to get back to that, Pam, because when we start talking about how to get over the triggers and what do we have to do. So please, please, please say that again. Yes, 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 royalty. I just read the beginning of this and I'm telling you. Some people don't have tough skin, so they feel triggered or any and everything that someone says. I could spend the next 3 lives talking about this. I realize that I have tough skin. I'm a tough cookie. I get that. And I kind of, in preparing for this video, I kind of said, you know what, I want to do a video on whiny women because that is really my annoyance is a whiny woman. When I say whiny, I don't know. Just why are you whining? Why are you whining? Why are you helpless? That's just a sidebar. This is a sidebar. But there's strength in your voice. There's strength in you standing tall. There's strength in you owning the moment. There's strength in you owning that trauma to the point where you're going to heal from it. And yes, they don't have tough skin. They don't have thick skin, and everything is everybody else's problem because it's easier to blame you because then I don't have to deal with me. But when I begin to own what triggers me and then own the emotional response, like Diamond said, hey, I'm not, or Royalty, can't remember which one. I think it was Diamond. Hey, I may be triggered, but you're not going to send me there. And so, and that's the way I am. Until we start owning that, it's so easy to blame everyone else around us because then I don't have to grow. I don't have to work on myself because guess what? It was your fault. Henrietta, hi ladies. Yes, and basically I hate being misunderstood. Oh my goodness. You know what, Ebony? That used to be a pet peeve of mine too. And I used to, oh gosh, couldn't stand being misunderstood. And I got to tail this one off, or I got to explain another thing. And all, I don't even waste the energy. I just misunderstand me. If that's what we're gonna do, if you're gonna misunderstand me, misunderstand me. That's where I'm at. Yes, stop whining, Diamond. And so, yes, I used to hate being misunderstood, and now, um, I just let you have it. And that's the honest to God truth. You're just not my person. Because one thing that I was also wanting to talk about is when you get triggered. Let's say, for an example, something happens and my husband does something, or my kids do something, or someone does something that takes me to a place where I'm now triggered. Part of that emotional response or that fight or flight, or how am I going to respond right now? I have to look at people's heart and say, you know what? He doesn't mean that. She doesn't mean that. That's not who he is. Self-talk. Remember the self-talk from this morning. So basically, us being misunderstood, but yes, the person, you also have to make sure that you read the heart and the will of the person that you're triggered by. And so that's where it's weird for these people online. You're like, you are really triggered. And all I said was hello. All I did was start my channel. All I did was post this picture, and it had nothing to do with you. I didn't know you don't like red shoes. Let me tell you something. I remember one time I I I posted an owl. We were visiting. I hadn't moved here yet. We were visiting here, and we were on vacation, and we were in a pool. And I looked up, and there was an owl on the roof. And I mean, I don't know about you, but I don't see owls very often. You see them a little bit more now that I live here. But I posted an owl. I got a phone call, or when I returned back home, another friend said, "Girl, you know, so and so was mad." Well, she didn't say it like that, but girl, so and so was mad at you because you posted that owl. And I was like, "Why?" Oh, well, in her culture, it's bad luck. Well, I'm not responsible for that. Like, I'm not responsible. So what? You're going to make everybody around you responsible and not posting owls because in your culture, that's a sign of bad luck. You were triggered and you should have managed those emotions, period. Um, I hate for a person to make something more than what it is. Absolutely. And we can't control that, unfortunately. And, you know, typically whiny women, women who, you know, aren't really ready to do the work within themselves, unfortunately, that's what it's going to be. Everything is a big deal. Everything, especially if it's something where they really want a relationship with you. If somebody really, really, really wants to be your friend and everything, it's like you're the bad guy for everything because you have to coddle me. And that's the essence of when you're triggered. When I'm triggered, If you don't know how to respond, you want somebody to coddle you. And I'm telling you right now, that's not going to happen in society. You're going to walk around an emotional mess, crying to your husband, crying to your children, crying to whoever because so and so hurt your feelings. Stop it. Miss Toya says, Diamond, yes, that part. So true. Diamond says, yes, exactly. Yes, stop whining. Y'all whiny women. I do this thing to my husband. He hates it. Because I do it on purpose. I act like, I'm just whiny woman. He's like, babe, do not. This whiny, helpless woman. She has a voice and everything. And I just say, I just really need your help. And he'd be like, girl, if you don't stop. Because he don't want a whiny woman. He loves my strength. You know what I'm saying? That doesn't mean that I don't have vulnerabilities or weakness, but I don't have to act like I'm four, because that's also a part of emotional regulation. So that's pretty much what happens when we're triggered. You're going to respond and you go from 0 to 100 because you overreacted. It's an overreaction, even if the thing that triggered you really was really, really bad. So for an example, there's certain movies I don't watch because they take me to a place that I don't want to go. There's certain movies about certain subjects I do not watch. Certain things I do not find funny. You may watch it all day and night. It doesn't bother you, whatever, but it triggers me. So what do? Do I tell my whole family, no, you don't get to watch that? Or I tell my husband, no, you don't get to go to the movies and see that? No. But there are some people that feel like everybody else in the world is wrong because of your personal triggers. We have to learn to manage and navigate our own, be responsible, take responsibility. So it depends on the situation and the person and how I react. I'm working on not always giving response back. I'm a work in progress. Girl, we all are a work in progress. And it takes time. You in your 30s, you're younger 30s, and I don't mean that in a condescending way. Anybody that's lived over time, you can tell somebody in their 20s, girl, you'll be over that in a minute. So I say that not to be like, oh, little girl. No, what I'm saying is a lot of stuff comes with growth and maturity and different things like that. We are all a work in progress. And the fact that you recognize that you don't have to go and attend every party you're invited to, meaning every argument, every situation, you've already won half the battle. Let's see. Some people will hit your trigger on purpose as a way of controlling you. Absolutely. We can absolutely identify those people. But what should we do? Relinquish the control from them. So, like just said, don't go to every party you invite. That's the way I say, you don't argue with everybody that pushes your button. There's some people that are going to push your button just because they know that that's a trigger or because they know your past. Some people love to rehearse your past. Oh, you ever see somebody and you're like, my goodness, that was 15 years ago. What are you talking about? Or bringing up when they helped you or when they didn't help you or whatever. And it's like, you're still there. You still stuck on that. I'm good. It's a trigger, but it's also a part of trying to control you for sure. I am very sensitive water sign, but I'm learning to control it as I get older. Now people say you change. Good, good, Toya. And the truth of the matter is I'm sensitive. I'm not sensitive, but I can be emotional about some things. But I'm very much in control of my emotions. Very much so. And when I'm not, I don't like the way that feels. And I kind of bring that in really, really quick. But but sensitive, I wouldn't say that I'm sensitive um because I have such a tough skin just because of my walk in life and stuff like that. So I get it, and I like the fact that people are saying that you changed. That means you're growing and they see the growth, because now whatever it is that they're doing that used to provoke you or used to get you going or used to get you crying or yelling or whatever your response was, it doesn't work anymore. Just me, you got this. Yes, you got it. Haha, I remember that voice. Oh, you remember me doing? Yes, girl. Oh my Lord, he can't stand it. He can't stand it. And if that works for you, it works for your spouse, go right ahead. It's just for me, um, and that whiny stuff, I can't do. Thank you, Diamond. Yeah, you got this. I don't think it's considered whiny when dealing with your husband with certain things. I think we do it to make them feel special in a way. No, just me knows the voice that I'm talking about. Um because if that's the case, what to Don't get me wrong, listen to what I'm saying and give me the response. If that's the case, then I feel like that's manipulation. And that still don't work with Mr. B. But if I have to, of course, I can soften my voice and be like, "Babe, that's different," because that's the power of babe, as my kids say. That's the power of babe. But what I'm talking about is generally a helpless, whiny woman. Oh my gosh, can you come open the door for me? Oh, please. I can't. I can't. That I can't. So that's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the female feminine woes and ways and things, that you need to do to have, to make your marriage work or whatever. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about literally whiny, helpless women. So how do we manage? So we've talked about our triggers. I've given several examples of triggers, what they are, what makes them bad. What makes them bad is the fact that, how we choose to respond, because we're navigating these spaces. If you're at work and your boss says something, your boss knows nothing about and I worked with someone very recently that just was a ball full of triggers. And every time you turn around, well, you don't know what her sister's relationships are, that's not my responsibility. She needs to pull her weight. She needs to do her job. And if the fact that someone's telling her what to do reminds her of her older sister, she's got a problem. And and that's just the bottom line. Unfortunately, you can't really walk around holding up a sign saying, "Hey, I was molested as a little girl, so don't make movies about molestation, and don't talk about this, and don't laugh about that." You're not controlling anybody. You got to deal with that. You have to deal with that, and then you have to decide, when I come into a room, into a situation, I pass a magazine that talks about it, or a movie, or whatever, how am I going to respond? Am I going to overreact like these people know? Like, thank you. It's as if the world revolves around us. And I'm here to tell you that the world does not revolve around you. So you may as well get to the point where we begin to recognize, why am I going 0 to 100, and what can I do about it? So that's that part. Here's the next part of the discussion. Let's see. Diamond says, "LOL. Okay, I understand." Yeah, that's what I mean. No, 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 no. Absolutely. You want to be feminine. You want to be soft and all of that. But if you know, you know. I'm going to just say it that way. Yes. So what do I do? You're in this conversation, you hiding out in the bushes, and they're like, "Oh crap, they're describing me." And some of you may be triggered right now because we're laughing and you might be the whiny woman. But again, what do you do? Do you get mad, or do you say, "You know what? She don't know me. She doesn't know me. She doesn't know why I do that." So instead of going from 0 to 100, "Hey, you said that," it is what it is, and you move on, because guess what? The world does not revolve around us. So what do we do when we find ourselves triggered? And again, I'm talking about really, really emotional stuff that takes us to a sunken place, takes us to an emotional place, doesn't take us give us a happy response. What do we do? How do we manage that? First and foremost, you got to become aware of what triggers you. And sometimes that happens on purpose, and then sometimes it happens after you done made a mess. And I'm going to be using that term, making a mess, just to say, that's it, Pam. That's what we're about. Come on now. Um, After you've already made a mess. And so I use that term loosely. Please don't be offended by it. But there's nothing like someone that has uncontrolled emotions as an adult, because you're going to make a mess. You're going to make a mess of things, because you're going to go off. You're going to be screaming, yelling. You're going to probably break relationships with someone. You got your best man mad at you, your sister-in-law mad, brother-in-law mad, everybody, all because you were triggered. So what could we have done differently in certain situations? So that's what we're talking about. This is grown woman talk. Love it. I love it too. This is my kind of conversation. I'm telling you, because I'm learning, I'm rehearsing, I'm working this work with y'all, period. So how do I become aware of my triggers? That soul searching that we were talking about this morning, that settling down, that being honest with yourself. Can you be honest with yourself when someone tells you, "Hey, you took that the wrong way and you blew that out of proportion"? I get that mainly because my husband is the main person that I actually interact with. So he'll say, "Girl, you just you just took that 0 to 100," and I'm like, pride in me is like, be quiet. But the other part is, yeah, for real, you did blow that out of proportion. Why did you blow that out of proportion? What did that remind you of? Okay, well, that's not him. That's not what he's doing. So why on earth did you just go from 0 to 100? Same thing with your kids or anybody else. I tell my kids, okay, that just reminded me of something, and I know that that's not what this is, so forgive me, and let's move on. So yeah, okay. I love listening to you. I love to listen. Thank you, Diamond. I count it an honor. This is grown woman talk. Okay. I'm not gonna read Mateus's thing right now because it's gonna throw me off, but it looks like he's asking for advice. Mateus, I will get back to that in a second. So we have to become aware. So again, be open and honest with yourself. A lot of times when you're young in love, you don't want to necessarily listen to your spouse or whatever, or even your children. Your children can tell you, like, hey, you just went from 0 to 100, and I do not know why. Now, that doesn't mean that you have to work out your salvation with your child to get to that point, but I encourage you to think about situations that are completely innocent, and you just respond like crazy. So, for an example, if someone compliments someone that you don't like, why do you take that personal? Why did you take it personal? Um, I've been told often that I go from you do in some situations. I don't know. So if you've been told that, think about it. Think about the situations. Don't think about the people, because a lot of times, we want to discredit the person, but there's a lesson in everything. And again, our spouses sometimes, our kids sometimes are the worst ones that trigger us, because our kids may trigger us because they remind us of something from childhood or whatever. So really, really, really think about those moments where someone says you took that way out of proportion, because what they're saying is, that wasn't my heart, that's not what I meant, and I don't know why you thought that I meant that about you. That's what they're saying. So April is giving Pam some high fives, like, girl, this is good. So yeah, become aware. Make a list. Get you a journal. We talked about journaling earlier today. Get you a journal and be intentional about, because what happens is, why? Why do I need to become aware? Why do I even care about triggers? Because you look like a fool. We look like a fool when we go from 0 to 100 in very innocent situations. And because everyone else around you is like, whoa, Tasmanian, what's that? Tasmanian devil just came through for no reason. And you really, sometimes you ruin the party. Sometimes you ruin the parent teacher conference. Some of y'all are ruining your kids' football games. Some of y'all are ruining your kids' co-parenting situations. Some of you are ruining your jobs prospects. Some of you are ruining your chances for promotion. You're ruining it because you're not able to manage your emotions. That's just the bottom line. Because we don't have signs saying, hey, this is where my trauma lies. Don't go there. We don't get to do that, because then we really look crazy. And then we really have people that are manipulative and use that against us, right? So we don't want that. So the best way to do that is to get over it. So whatever those triggers are, get over it, because you're going to overreact. You're going to parent differently. It can influence all of that if you're not aware of what your triggers are. Absolutely. It's usually both of them. Yep. So become aware. Write it down. Write it down. Some things we can go to someone and say, hey, when you do X, Y, Z, it reminds me of this, right? Again, I, as a spouse, wouldn't dare do something on purpose, that I would try not to do something that I know sends him to a dark place. So that's not what I'm talking about. Becoming aware so that you can grow and be a better, more whole, more in control of your emotions. I've been married for 26 years and I have triggers from the past, but I'm learning to get over it. Exactly, Pam. I've been married just got you by a year, I think. Same thing. I will drive this man nuts and he will drive me nuts if we weren't emotionally in control of our emotions. Like, you have to do it. I would drive my kids crazy. Like, it's not going to work. It's not going to be a healthy situation if we're just a walking, ticking time bomb, because guess what? Unfortunately, life goes on. Um, and as much as, it hurts, and, you know, loss hurts. But the weird thing about loss is everyone else goes on about their lives. The world continues to evolve. So even in loss, even in mourning, as much as we want to yell and scream and say, hey, I'm mourning right now, you can't get mad at the world or lady down at Starbucks or whatever because she's not coddling you, or because you're not getting the attention that you want, or because she said she called something similar to your person that you lost his name or whatever. Again, that's a trigger, and that's a legit trigger. But what do you do in that moment? What do you do in that moment? Just me, I promise you, once you talk with someone you're comfortable with and can trust, you'll be able to express and talk about everything you want to get out. You can contact me if you want to. And it's the truth. Because that's what it takes. It takes, like I said, writing everything down, dealing with, we were talking about earlier, dealing with those traumas, dealing with those things, the ugly parts, so that we can be beautiful flowers. Okay. Triggers are something that sometimes we can control, in the sense of, hey, talking to the loved one. But then for the most part, as the world turns, it just goes on. So what do we do? The next thing goes on to the next thing. We have to release people from the responsibility of managing and controlling. I know you are. I know you are, little cuz. Release people from the responsibility. There was a time in my marriage where I felt like, you know what? You know my past. You know my childhood. You know this. You know that. You need to treat me like a little delicate flower, which he should. I'm his little delicate flower. But at the same time, it's a huge responsibility to put on anyone, children, husband, spouse, or whatever. Of course, I'm not talking about being inconsiderate, because any healthy relationship, no one's going to be just reckless. That's not what I'm talking about. But there are some spouses that come to mind that I know for a fact they are given that responsibility to be okay on their spouses. And I'm here to tell you, that's not fair. He is not God. She is not God. Your children are not God. That is a job for God. God is the only person that can help take that situation and turn it into a situation where it no longer stings. That's healing. When do I get to the point where I don't go from 0 to 100? When I'm healed from it. When I'm healed from it. And sometimes, hear me out, sometimes it's not a vocal 0 to 100. Sometimes it's your mind going, yep. How about you single ladies? You triggered, you're unhealed, you get with somebody, he don't call you back right away. Y'all didn't play, you played out the whole scenario in your head. And then when he finally called, y'all on a 10. And he was just at the gym with his dudes. He really was there. But because you are triggered from an unhealthy place, you done ran this man off because you were cuckoo. I say that and I say that jokingly. Don't get offended. Don't get offended. But me saying cuckoo could trigger somebody, right? So it's not just vocally 0 to 100. Like, it's not always that. It's what's going on in your head. Sometimes you're laying in bed or whatever, and your kids are asleep. You got to get up and go check on them, or that's me with my male friend. Exactly. Your poor kids, you're driving your poor kids crazy because you have unhealed trauma. You're driving your poor kids crazy. So it's not always this, right? Cuckoo is focused. It's not always this. Sometimes it's that still voice. He didn't call me back. I know what he did. He just like Gerald. And see, Gerald didn't call back, and it was around the same time or whatever. Wait till he called. Or a female, your best friend, you triggered by that because she hanging out with somebody else, and the last girl that you trusted to be your best friend, she dogged you. But now these two went to Puerto Rico, didn't invite you. When they finally called, you went from 0 to 100. And really, they just felt like they didn't want to invite you because you didn't have the time. but you done took it places that it didn't need to go. Unhealed. It's the facial expressions. Who, me? My facial, my facial expressions. Lord have mercy. Um, let's see. It's usually both of them. Here we go. Yep, we got through that. Well, I'm so far behind. Now that I'm learning to get over trigger, it's so much freedom, and that's my whole point. That's my whole point of this live, is that we can get over our triggers together. Like I said, my husband, my children, co-workers, and stuff like that, they ultimately are not responsible for how you choose to respond in situations. Period. Um, that's just the bottom line. I be wanting to run away from my husband, child, and dog. Husband, child, dog, everything else. Listen, I be ready to run away about once a month. Not because anything is bad, but I just be like, oh crap, I'm the mom. Okay, I'm the wife. I wonder how it's like that good in California just to run away. Just see. There's nothing wrong with that. But we can't do that. I'm here. We'll rewatch later. Absolutely good. That's me with my male friend. Exactly. So again, I want to stress that it's not necessarily, triggers again, it's not always negative, but also it's not always something vocal. It's that unhealed place that something triggers. You could be watching a movie completely fine. And if you're someone that has dealt with any type of trauma, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You could be fine and a commercial come on, or scene in a movie and everything else, and you just boom. Well, what's wrong with you? Nothing. How do we respond? Now we got to begin to tell ourselves, okay, you tripping. Do not start. And I know a lot of times in movies and stuff, these things that we're talking about, they sometimes portray it as the crazy woman. That's not that. You're learning how to regulate your emotions. As I was preparing for this, I was reminded that it's the same thing as what we teach our kids when they're little, when they're 2, when they're 3, at least what I taught my kids and what I taught my students. You got to teach your kids how to regulate their emotions, or else they're going to be a ball of emotions with no words, or with the lack of understanding on how to use their words in certain situations. And that's on that. Preach, Melissa. Cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. It's the facial expressions for me. No, me. Oh, yeah. And that's me too. Whatever I'm thinking, feeling, and everything else is written over my face. My husband can tell exactly when I done dove down or came up or whatever. It doesn't really matter. And so again, that's a trigger. That can be a trigger, because here's the thing. So much of what we do is online. So much of what we do, Zoom calls, this, and that, and the other, whatever. So we have to be able to manage that too. And I know for me, maybe about 6 years ago, I began to work on my RBF, because I knew I looked like, and so if someone keeps telling you, oh my goodness, you look intimidating, or you look, I never really was told I look mean, but if you look intimidating, whatever. So I began to practice this as a resting face. So that way I could be approachable. So again, instead of being triggered by somebody saying something or whatever, I decided, okay, emotionally, what do I need to do in this space? I need to work on it. So the other thing is, we have to understand the root cause of the situation that causes us to be triggered. So that's twofold. We have to understand that 9 times out of 10, in a general situation, you're watching a movie, that director did not know that on July 8th, you were going to be sitting there watching a movie and you were going to be upset by that. Generally speaking, he didn't know that. So you have to know, if I'm going to go see this movie about, I don't know, divorce. I'm going to go watch this movie about divorce. So usually when I watch movies about divorce, it makes me feel like da 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 da. If you know that already, and you know the root cause of it, what are you going to do about it? You're going to go get your money, be a Karen, and go get your money back from the box office because he talked about divorce or molestation or runaways or whatever, because you're triggered? Or do you do your due diligence to say, you know what? If you were ever divorced, I'm divorced. That has not, this movie topic has nothing to do with me. And, I'm healed from that. If you begin to be healed from it, remove the sting of it. Yes, first we have to recognize that you're having a trigger, and then we can start to handle the situation. Exactly, Pam. So you have to be cognizant of that. And there's some things, once you realize XYZ triggers me, you can avoid those situations, or you can avoid those people, or you can avoid, there's some people, I said it earlier and I will continue to say it. Some people just do not belong on social media because everything triggers them and everyone's against them. You ever see those people? Everyone got haters. Oh, this hater. I'm thinking, who are you talking to? Do they know who you're talking to? And why do you have so many haters? But that's neither here nor there. And so in order to understand the root of it, and whether it's a childhood trauma, whether it's a relationship trauma, whether it's adult trauma, like for an example, being raped, and all those are real traumatic situations that I am not making light of. Molestation, being picked on, colorism. Some people are completely triggered by the light skin, dark skin conversation because they were bullied as kids. Some people are completely triggered by really super traumatizing things, not minimizing that at all. But anybody will tell you, if they're worth their weight in any type of life coaching, psychology, or anything, seek help to begin to heal, because the world is not going to be kind to you. They're not going to start, no one's going to shield you from those memories or from those things. No one's going to, typically speaking, no one's going to block off a gate, unfortunately. And I don't want to say this lightly, but okay, you got raped at a certain place. You have got to heal. You have to heal and seek help if it's really, 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 really deep, to the point where it's just really nasty and as I say, snot nose worthy. But we got to heal from it. Sheila says hello. And so we're in the moment, right? So we're in the moment. Something happened. Someone posted something. Someone looked at you a certain way or whatever, and it took you to a place. You became 4-year-old you. You became 8-year-old you. You became 10, 16-year-old you. You're in that moment where that girl did that same thing to you, but now you're 34, you're 39, you're 59. What do you do? What do I do that I don't go from 0 to 100 emotionally, physically, socially, or whatever? What do I do? Well, after you've done all the work, you recognize that you're triggered and this, that, and the other, there's some practical things that I do that you can do to help you work through in the moment. So right now we're pretending we're in the moment. And like Diamond said, she don't give people that chance. She don't give them that chance to enter there. And there's a reason. There's some things that Diamond has to, that she doesn't go to 0 to 100. Hey, Andrea, good to see you again. A person can be the closest person to you. I definitely had to learn not to allow my mom to trigger me. The only way to get along is when I gave her. Exactly. Exactly. I don't care who it is. Anybody can be a trigger. And it could be intentionally by antagonizing, and then some people are completely unaware. And either way it goes, it's our job to do the internal work to say, you know what? This person doesn't know about XYZ. The person on your job doesn't know your story. The person on your job has no idea what you went through. So why are you upset? Why are you upset? You know, Unfortunately, I'm close to my mom. So, we have a very good relationship. So but I sympathize and know plenty of people that have very, very just distant relationships with their mothers. And especially for females, that can be very, very hard, because that person is supposed to be your next in line to where you get your everything from, your guidance from, your love from, your guidance from, right? But if that's the person that triggers you and gaslights you and everything else, again, get to the root of it. And I'm gonna say this before I get into the practical things that you can do because you're in that moment. I'll tell you straight up, we talked about this before. Protect your peace. Because being triggered and going from 0 to 100 is not peaceful. So I believe in doing whatever it means, whatever you need to do to protect your peace. There are people that are relatives or whatever that I do not talk to. And I don't feel any type of way about it. Just because you are my blah, 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 I'm supposed to talk to you. No, no, you trigger me. Or it's trauma there. And I'm gonna protect my peace. And I believe that 100%. Yes, Diamond. Oh my God, right on. For me, the way I don't let her trigger me is not being bothered with her at all. And sometimes it bees that way. And that's the truth. And Pamela chimed in with forgiveness. Absolutely. And I can forgive people, but I don't have to deal with them. You can deal with people. You can forgive someone, but you can protect your peace because they haven't shown you that they have changed. Listen, I do not put myself in positions, in situations where I may or may have to go from 0 to 100 if I already know. So you got to work that out yourselves on what you decide to do. But for me and my house, we choose to just not do that, not doing it. So anyway, you're in that moment, you're 8-year-old you. You feeling like you're 8-year-old you know, and so in talking to some of you that have this trauma situation with your parents or whatever, maybe some things that they do triggers you from you're back as a teenager. You're back at that last incident. You're back to when you were abused or whatever. What do you do? One thing that I do when I know I'm being triggered and I know that um I don't want to go, I'm not going to give it the emotional, physical, social, oral response. I breathe, stop and take a breath. Begin to breathe, because if you know what feeling triggered feels like emotional, and I'm talking about if you've been abused or raped or any of those things, you need to breathe, because what's going to happen is you're in that moment. You're in that moment. You're in a moment when your mom yelled at you when you were 10. You're in a moment when you were bullied. You're in that moment. So you need to begin to breathe. Breathe in, breathe out. Deep breaths so that you can tell your body we are safe. We're safe. She doesn't have power over me. That doesn't have power over me. They didn't mean it that way. Again, there's different ways that we could put this, because there are some times where we're triggered by someone and they didn't even mean it. They didn't mean it. Breathe, right? Take a deep breath, slow breaths, deep breaths. Close your eyes if you need to. But one thing that I begin to do is tell myself, talk to yourself. Self-talk. You tripping? Talk to yourself however you talk to yourself to begin to bring yourself down and to heal in that moment. You're not 8. They didn't mean it that way. You're fine. You're safe. You have a beautiful family. You have a beautiful child. You have a beautiful da da da. However, whatever it is that you need to remind yourself that you're in 2021 and not 1972 or 1992 or 1996 or even yesterday. Whatever you need to do, calm those affirmations to bring you down, to say, you know what, don't start, because guess what, you better than that. We're over that. That person has no power. It took me a while to learn. I had to learn not to allow her to use God and scriptures against me. Even to this day, I love and respect her, but I do it from a distance. I'm there if she needs me. Good, Diamond. And you have to figure it out. You have to figure that out, whatever that means for you. And that's, everyone gets to live their own life. Everyone gets to walk their own path. Everyone gets to experience life the way they get to experience it. And I would never tell someone to talk to someone that truly, truly traumatizes them and triggers them. I would not encourage that. What I do encourage is for you to do whatever you need to do to walk in peace and walk in healing. Because guess what? Going from 0 to 100 is not peaceful. That's not a good look. And I know that, especially if it's unwarranted. There's nothing like being around or experiencing someone being triggered and it was an overreaction. And you're like, whoa, that didn't match the situation at all. And then so when they calm down, they're like, oh, but see, what happened was you didn't know my mom when I was 3. I don't take responsibility for that. That you at work. I just want you to do your job. Sometimes, like I said, you might have to self-talk. Sometimes you need to take a walk, remove yourself from the situation, whatever that means. There's some, like I said, visually, movies, different things. Sometimes you're in the moment and it's just deep and it's taking you back. Remove yourself quietly without attention. You don't need, and that's the thing. Sometimes people want to use triggers to get attention. I'm not someone that wants attention from any of this negative, anything negative. Remove yourself quietly. Go for a walk. Get a drink of water. Count to 10. Remind yourself it is 2021. I'm an adult. I'm a grown woman. I have a good life. I've made a good life. I am not in danger. That thing happened to me, but guess what? It's not who I am, and it will not control me. It's not going to control me. My coworker Betty, she didn't mean it. She doesn't even know that that happened to me. So I don't have to be mad at her because XYZ. Sometimes it's nothing traumatic like that. Sometimes people can be triggered because you can buy something and they can't. Then it makes them feel like they're poor or whatever. It could be anything. But at the end of the day, we have to release the responsibility from other people, because 9 times out of 10, it's something that is so meaningless or so innocent or so unintentional, not antagonizing, but yet here we are going from 0 to 100. And so, like I said, you might have to go for a walk, move your body. Sometimes, they say, feel around you to kind of bring yourself back, just depending on how severe the situation is. Um, Definitely from a distance. Yeah, you got to do what you got to do. You got to do what you got to do. So, leave your comments down below. Let's just get the general. Let's see, what time is it? Okay, we right at an hour. So yeah, let's talk about it tomorrow. Well, let's segue. Tomorrow we're gonna do kind of. I love how we did last Friday, sort of like a foolishness Friday. We've been talking um common music. Yeah, we've been talking kind of deep. So tomorrow I want to do sort of like a foolishness Friday, open it up like how I did last week. It's gonna be awesome. So for tomorrow around this time, and I don't know, I'll just chill and hang out with you guys for a few hours or whatever tomorrow. We'll see. But anyway, in this moment, if you are here and you're watching a playback or you're in live and you have not liked this video, make sure you like the video. Leave a comment down below if you understand your triggers and you've been working on it. Let me know. Subscribe, subscribe, subscribe. I always say that, but I also want to take it further. Be a part of the conversation. And again, I always have my email listed below. If there's something personal that you want to ask or you feel like I want to discuss and you want to keep it anonymous, my email is always available. So Pamela says calming music, worship music is awesome to kind of manage those physiological responses to triggers, um, and it's a work in progress, because guess what? As we continue to live, we continue to be offended in some way. Someone's going to offend you. Someone's going to wrong you. So that creates a different emotional storage. There's a different memory, So the biggest thing is I really encourage you to release the responsibility. Stop giving other people the power for your healing, because you're not going to get healed that way. Um, telling your whoever that they are responsible for making you feel okay is a huge, huge responsibility that no human can do. They can make you feel happy in the moment. They can make you feel happy temporarily. But what we're going after is full, unadulterated healing. And the only places that's going to come from is your faith and healing through your faith, whatever that looks like for you. And what can make you be whole. And so whatever it is that our spouses, our children, or anybody does to assist in that, that's just an accessory. But let's not place that responsibility on our children, on your spouse, on your coworkers, on the people on Facebook who are just posting and minding their business. Now you mad and blocking half the world. Don't do that. Don't do that. Exactly. I'm the only girl and got treated the worst. That's why I tried to be independent. All my brothers went to jail and I ended up being a deputy. Wow, Diamond. Wow, wow, wow. I love that. I love how we humans have the ability to take whatever trauma that we have growing up and turning it into our passion, turning it into our careers, turning it into our soapbox, so to speak, where we are using that to say, you know what, I'm going to make myself a better person. Unfortunately, you have some people that fall right in line with that trauma. So good for you. Working on my triggers. We all are, girl. We all are. But I'm very, very after being cussed out here and there, and being told that I'm basically responsible for, you knew. No, no, I don't. I don't know. There's no way. And it's weird to just walk around with, no one walks around with their issues or their experiences on their shirt, so that someone says, oh, rape victim, so I need to make sure. Now if you make me aware of it or whatever, and then you say, hey, I don't like this and that, and I'm using rape because that is a traumatic experience, but it could be anything. I'm telling you, Diamond just mentioned the fact that she was the only girl and all of that. And so let's say, okay, perfect example, let's say, well, all that she goes, that Diamond has going on, and then she goes to a comedy club, and the comedian is making jokes about people going to jail. The comedian is making jokes about being the only girl. The comedian is making jokes about not being close to the mother, whatever, whatever. Diamond can choose in that moment, am I going to be offended? Am I going to go from 0 to 100, cancel this person, da, 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 or am I going to be like, you know what, this is comedy, they don't know my story, I'm going to sit here and grin and bear it, or however she chooses to responsibly respond, it is what's important, is what I'm saying, because the world, unfortunately, life goes on. The world does not care about our childhood, how we grew up, what we had, what we didn't have, and all this other stuff, and that enters in our brain, is implanted in our brain, and here we are 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 years old, and we want to hold the world accountable because, oh, they should have known when I was 5, this happened to me. Oh, they should have known I had to miss meals or whatever or whatever. No, unfortunately, no, it doesn't work that way. Working on my triggers. Thank you for this platform. You guys are absolutely, absolutely, positively welcome. It is an honor, and it is also something that I pray continues to bless you guys beyond measure. Melissa, the lady that CC stabbed in the eye, came on her live last night and called her out on her live. I have no idea who and what you're talking about, Mary, but thank you for that comment. I caught that too, Mary. Mary Things, I was on that live. Pam, y'all gotta bring me up. I have no idea what y'all talking about. Pam, I saw it as well. I looked it up, and that lady wasn't lying. Oh, okay. CC handled it like a champ. Okay. I see some strong women here. You're awesome. Thank you, Pamela. Thank you. You're gonna get strength over here. Even in my weakness, you're gonna find I'm gonna give you some strength. Only because who I look up to are strong women who've been through hell and high water and back again, and their strength in everything, including our trauma and everything else like that. So, and I think that there's so much I can do from a place of strength with a dose of weakness, because of course I have to be weak, or vulnerable, not weak, vulnerable. But there's so much that I can do to impact the world through my strength, for sure. And I'm not trying to be messy, but if you read it, Pam, CC started that one. Okay. I'm going to laugh, not because it's funny, but because I know who I am and what I've been through. Exactly, Diamond. Exactly. I'm gonna laugh. I'm gonna laugh. Melissa, you're very remarkable. Thank you, Pamela. That's so wow. I've never been called remarkable. That's sweet. Thank you. I need to tell my kids. Two of them are on this side of the house. I should tell them. They told me I'm remarkable. My kids, they be like, yeah, you are. If you type in, okay, all right, Ford versus state of Mississippi. Okay, guys, I have no idea what you guys are talking about, because I wasn't on that live, and yeah. So, but you guys are talking about it, and so I'll probably go back and see what the heck y'all talking about. But anyway, y'all. I hope that this live found y'all well. Leave a comment down below if there's something that you're wondering about. Again, Hit me in my email if there's something that you feel like you want me to touch on. As far as a subject is concerned, I have a whole pocket full of tools and everything that I want to touch on. The last couple of lives have been absolutely amazing. And so it lets me know that this conversation needs to happen, and it's going to continue to happen. Like I said, today I developed this platform. My number one goal is to become, YouTube's cheerleader for women, period. Ain't no hate over here. None of that. So go watch the last live after this live. I do have a Facebook diamond, but it's not one that I am very active on. I'm not going to lie to you. I just posted today on it. And I was like, man, I have to remember to post over there. I do have, it's called melissaberrien.com. And like I said, I'm not on it nowhere near as much as I'm on YouTube. We was referring to the lady that CC got into an altercation with. She came on CC Live and confronted her. Oh, wow. Yikes. Okay. Type in for, okay. All right, Mary. The lady name was Misty Gaddy. Okay. All right. Y'all be getting all the tea. I'm glad I ain't never did. I ain't never do nothing like that. Y'all, I'm so knock on wood and praise Jesus, just my path just didn't lead me down that way. I was either being somebody's mom, someone's foster mom, or someone's teacher. So I couldn't be about that life. It doesn't make me better than anybody. It's just I'm different than them. But yeah, stabbed her in the eye. Wow. Okay. Melissa. Yes. So Mod, let's see if you can tag that. So that's my email address. Let me know. Let me know if there's something specifically. Like I said, I already have a long list of things that I'm going to be going live with you guys on, and just really just developing each other into phenomenal women. We often look at the Michelle Obamas, the Jill Bidens, the Shonda Rhimes, and all these people, and we think, oh, they're here, and in order to shine, we have to reach a level of success in Hollywood. And I don't believe that. I think that we all can be walking greatness just in the same amount of greatness and confidence as they do within our own lane. So that's what this platform is all about. Y'all gonna give me this story. Hold on. Cece was the aggressor if you read the transcript. Okay, I just started being on YouTube. I'm more of a Facebook person. I'm in Facebook. Diamond, what did you do to get on Facebook, Jeff? My thing with Facebook is this. I want most of my traffic to come to YouTube. So there are times when my platform gets a little bit larger, then I will stream to both places. I can do that now, but I really want you guys to bring your traffic here. I don't want y'all to get comfortable on Facebook, but I can stream to both places. But I prefer YouTube. Monetization wise, girl, she in Facebook jail. Monetization wise, subscriber wise, and everything. I'm very comfortable on YouTube's platform. I know YouTube, I ain't gonna say like the back of my hand, but I'm just comfortable over here. So yeah, y'all gonna give me this story. Diamond, Diamond is in Facebook jail. You know what, April, now you're showing out. I'm the lady in which Cece got into. Oh, okay, Misty. She's not telling the story. Baby, I don't, to be honest with you, I have no idea what you guys are talking about. None whatsoever. I love all the topics you come up with. Thank God for you. April, thank you so much. I'm telling you, I can't even stress enough. I can't really express enough how much you guys, your contribution, your interactions, and all of that, Block Missy, okay, means to me. No, don't block her. She's fine. Don't block her. She ain't bothering me. Don't block her. Missy's fine. Don't block her. She not disrespecting me. She just, like I said, only people that get blocked are people that come on here talking sideways out their neck. And when I say sideways out their neck, just being straight up disrespectful with their usernames and stuff like that. But Misty, hey, I can either answer her or get into it. Like I said, I have no idea what you guys are talking about. So Oh, y'all gonna make me cry. Y'all are such a blessing. And I'm singing so I don't become a mush. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now I gotta highlight these. I had to go over to YouTube. Let's see. Mm, Thank you. Thank you so much, y'all. Diamond and April for the super chats. Again, it is not something that I take lightly because I don't give people my money lightly. Anybody that know me, now that's one thing they will say. Melissa not coming off no money like that. Not easily. No. Because it's our hard-earned money. That like no. So I appreciate that. Thank you so much, Diamond. Yes, just me says thank you. And again, Misty is not bothering me. This is a free platform, and she can say what she want to say, and she's just explaining, whatever happened. So yeah, uh, that's fine. That's fine. She's not saying anything disrespectful. She's not saying anything disrespectful to me. Whether it's a real page or a fake page, guys, that's the whole thing. Um, that wasn't an avatar one. Oh, I'm sorry. They don't let you change it, huh? So again, let's talk about this. Um, that's the whole thing. We're talking about triggers. We're talking about, responding 0 to 100. We're talking about how do we respond. Misty is completely okay. She's just coming on, whether it's a fake page or a real page, to explain whatever it is that she feel like she needs to explain. That doesn't mean I advocate for her or see. The truth of the matter is I have no idea what y'all talking about. So it doesn't matter. Let her, yeah, it's okay. It's really okay. So anyway, if you're in the bushes, make sure you hit the subscribe button, because I love, love, love hearing back from you guys. I love the fact that those of you that are that have the notification bell, and you guys have hit the notification bell, and then the fact that you guys literally are waiting for me to come live, like that just does my heart so merry. Y'all have no idea. Um, And so let's just remember these moments, remember these spaces, because one day, this channel is continuing to grow, and so that's that part. Um, any business. So I'm gonna be on tomorrow. I'm thinking about doing something very, very unique. Something a little way to bless you guys, not monetarily just yet. With my husband and I are trying to figure out how to do a giveaway, because we want to do a giveaway, but we want to make it fair to people that have been following me and interacting and stuff like that. So I may do some sort of I know I have an idea already what I want to do for my memberships, but I don't want to just do the giveaway just for the memberships. I'm trying to figure it out because I want to be fair, but also I don't want to pick someone's name that it just came in and you don't even interact or whatever. So trying to figure that out. If you have any ideas for that, shoot me an email. My email, it will be pinned down below. I'm just trying to make it fair. And I want to bless those that have been a blessing to me. So we will be having a giveaway very, very soon. And then once I get my membership started, we will be doing monthly giveaways, because that's just that's how it is. Um, let's see. That's that. What did I say? I love the topics you come with. Thank God for you. Yes. So what was I saying? Oh, tomorrow morning. So tomorrow morning, I'm going to have something special. I may not be on specifically, but I'm going to have something on you. It's going to have to do with affirmations and praying and different things like that. We had a great week talking about what we've been talking about. So yeah, and then tomorrow evening, we're going to jump into the Foolishness Friday, where we're going to get it popping and talking about whatever it is. Y'all know how we get on Fridays. So like I always say, between now and tomorrow evening, we already know somebody's going to go live doing something. Someone's going to go viral doing something. And so in that moment, that's what we're going to be discussing tomorrow. So in the meantime, let's see. Let me make sure. Diamond, prayer is definitely the answer. Yes, prayer is always the answer, y'all. Prayer is always the answer. Always. I believe you. Okay. So yeah. All right. All hearts and minds are clear. I'm gonna give you guys a few more seconds. Make sure that you hit the like button, like I always say. I know how it is to have your favorite YouTubers and you want to keep them a cute little secret and you don't want nobody to know. Don't do that to me. Share, 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 share. Share with people who you think need to hear these messages. Someone who would enjoy the interaction. I know that's a little bit different from some people and what they do, but over here, that's what we do. So that's that. So with that being said, I will see you guys in the morning.